Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your weekly reading, which is good until January 10th through 2026. And this is the astronumerology reading where we combine astrology and numerology for clarity on life. We're going to start with the actual numerology. Everyone is experiencing the 1 year, which is all about newness, change, leadership, stubbornness. And we're also experiencing January as a 2 month, which is definitely about relationships, partnerships, diplomacy, and the opposite side of that, not being diplomatic, being too aggressive, really taking things that like possessing things instead of sharing things, which the two is about sharing and working together. And so you got both sides of that energy happening. So everyone is experiencing that. You need to go back and watch my individual personal year readings so that as an individual, you can find out what year you're in and then decide what kind of month you're having. I think I'm going to do some numerology things also for you guys. So, as the week starts for me this week, January 4th, the 1-4 is a 5 day, first off, and then it's a 1 year. So, it is a 6 day. So, going forward, you should be able to calculate the day. Six energy is about nurturing and family and spending time with family. Always considering that we have the one. So you might be doing new things with the family, going in a new direction, making a new decision about the family. Six is also about teaching and education. So you may be making a decision about someone's education and their foundation and what that's going to look like for them. It's definitely about nurturing. So you might be going out to eat with people or providing a new skill, as a cooking skill or tasting new food today, right? And then every day until the 10th, you're going to experience a different energy. So on the next day is the 7 energy, the next day is the 8 energy, and the next day is the 9 energy, and so forth. Okay. So the numbers are going to go with you each day while you're working in these relationships and partnerships and newness. And on high vibing side is really good, right? So a Scorpio, which is a powerful sign in general, is a powerful energy, but it likes money, newness, being in charge kind of thing. It likes that, right? But then the other part of that is that the Scorpio can be too aggressive. The Scorpio can be toxic. And the Scorpio also can be great as far as a lover, but the Scorpio can also have some secrets. So during the 1 and the 2, you need balance because 1 and 2 balances each other out. So January in general is requesting that you operate out of a sense of balance. Be the boss when it's time to be the boss, but also be the servant, right? Be the person that, is great with getting into sexual things and stuff, but also be safe when getting into sexual things, balancing everything. Definitely about duality. All right. That's the numbers for you. Now, the other thing that happens is we have some energy of cards that I'm going to pull for you. And we're going to start with the soul journey lesson cards. And what this means is that there's a particular lesson that you're working on this week. We are all in school here and we are all learning something. And hopefully at some point we graduate from those different lessons. If not, they will repeat themselves. So, what lesson are you learning? Let's see. Service. I feel good when I can help others. It is not enough to be in charge. It is better to be in charge, but also using your position as a means for supporting those who are beneath you in whatever organization you are. Because really, Scorpio is definitely about the money. And whatever situation they're in, they this is a caveat. This is the typical Scorpio, not all Scorpios, because there's other numbers in your chart that might prevent you from doing this. But Scorpios in general tend to go into the position of authority at a job, whatever type of job it is. I don't care if it's, scrubbing the floors. People tend to look to you. So you might have some power, some influence. Using that to serve others is a great way to be a Scorpio instead of using it to serve the self. All right. Next card we're going to pull is the numerology card. So this is the number that is going to be following you. And I did already shuffle these cards, but no, nothing wrong with shuffling it a little bit more. All right, the number is self-discipline, 41. Okay, so 41 is a five number, and five is about change, freedom, traveling, having fun. It is my one sex, drug, and rock and roll kind of number because there could be too much freedom, too much fun, too much party, too much of that, right? So you have to be disciplined. Meaning, and it says self-discipline because this is not that somebody's going to put restrictions on you. You have to put the restrictions on yourself in order to not go overboard, in order to not wake up next to somebody and you're like, what is this? What did I do last night? I'm going to regret this. You have to hold yourself accountable. Okay. The third card that you're going to see is the Moonology card. And we are still experiencing a little bit of that first super moon, which is the wolf moon that we just experienced, beautiful full moon. Hope you had a chance to see that. But the moon carries multiple phases. And so we're going to pull an oracle card for you and see what phase of the moon is following you this week. Void of course moon. Nothing will come of this situation. So if you have been doing something, maybe you started a new business and it's not working out, you need to abandon it. Maybe you started a new job and there's a lot of friction, you need to abandon it. It says nothing will come of this situation. It could even be a situationship that you started. You need to abandon it. Only you know, Scorpio. You know what you're doing out in these streets. I know what you're doing too, but I'm not going to tell everybody. I'm a mystic, but it's okay if you call me an oracle sometimes. Scorpio be wilding. Okay. Now, Scorpio, don't you come for me in the comments, or don't you know I can read you through the comments. Don't come for me in the comments. You better say nice things, or I'll read you in the comments. Okay, I'm just letting you know. All right. I've been waiting for somebody to get the Joker. It would be you. My God, it would be you. The Joker, which is, one of the most powerful cards in the deck, right? The Joker trumps everything. That's that I'm in charge. I'm living large and in charge energy. But the Joker is also the fool because the Joker sets out on adventures and sometimes doesn't have it planned out completely. Yes, they win most of the times, but there's some failing at other times, right? So this season, you have the ability to win at certain things. But what you need to do is look and see if that thing is truly lining up with your overall purpose in life. And if it isn't, it's going to be a temporary victory. So you're going to win a battle instead of winning the war. Okay. You want to make sure that all of your wins are towards winning the war. All right. So, and when you set out on a course, that just this previous card told you whatever course you're trying to go to, it said nothing will come for this. So for some of you, that's one that you got a little fling relationship going on. Let that go, sis. Let it go. Because that's just not, it's not really lining up with what you truly want for your life. It's just something for the moment. All right. Okay, then let's move into the astrology. With astrology, everyone is feeling the same pattern of energies. The only difference is what part of your chart is going to be hit the hardest with the energy. And during the course of the next 6 days, this energy will move through every last one of your houses and hit it a little bit differently. The energy is the first one, the major energy is the Sun, Mars, Mercury, and Venus. That energy is riding together. Like I've told other people, this is the father, which is the sun, the king, is riding with his brother Mars, the hot-headed brother, but the person you want to have with you when you got to get in trouble. Mars is Scorpio's ruler, right? And then you have Venus and Mercury. Venus is the cute little girl, and oh my God. I'm sorry, I just realized I know physical people who are literally riding like this. Mercury is the young boy. right? Just leave it at that. There's no feminine energy from a mother who normally really runs the house, right? In that car. So they can go off and have fun adventures and get into a lot of trouble that would cause regret later. This starts out for you in your 12th house, right? And this is hitting you in your 12th house. The 12th house is about losses, institutions, hospitalization, prisons, things that it prevents you from going forward. Sleep. So you could definitely one be staying up too late, burning the midnight oil, trying to get some things done, but there's no COO because I think of the mother as the COO. And so there's no chief operating officer. There's no one to stabilize what you're doing. So that could be because you're working in another project, another job. Maybe you have a second job and you're working that. And right now you're not getting sleep. So your health is impacted, right? And with that Mercury in the energy there, you're in that sun energy there, how's your health impacted? Well, vision and your head issues might be a problem right now because you might be having some migraines and headaches. You might not even be hydrated, might have some issues there. You might have some intestinal issues because you are not getting the right nutrients because you're burning the midnight oil in this little box. And it's also a feeling of being trapped, right? That's how that energy starts with you, and it's requiring you to find a sense of balance, right? So you need to bring the COO energy into your world. Now, where is the moon when all of this is happening? The moon is starting out in your sixth house, and your sixth house is about your health, about competition, about debt, money. So you have some money troubles that people don't know about because Scorpio is the person, the boss, right? Scorpio don't want people all up in their business, but you have some financial things that you need to tend to. You cannot attend to those things if you're not focused with a plan. All this other stuff is just going to leave you scattered, and your money's going to suffer for that. The other energy that everyone is dealing with is Saturn in Pisces. Saturn's okay being in Pisces. Pisces not okay with Saturn being in Pisces. And that's Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is nice energy. Jupiter's like, you know what? I'm going to spread some joy to everybody, some love. Hey, I'm going to give you some good energy. But this is a time of working because Saturn is the working energy. Saturn gets things done, and Saturn is isolated. So sometimes it's working in a silo. That energy starts out for you in your actual eighth house. Eighth house is the sex house, the death house, the research house, or different hidden cavities. It's the house of I'm going and cave, what they call it, caving, where you go into a cave and crawl into these little places to find some treasure or, experience something that others don't normally get to experience. That's where that energy is for you. So you're trying to bring something out of one of those hidden areas into your life. And maybe it's financially, you're trying to get the money, go back and find this right job, just this right side hustle that's going to bring me the money. That's your focus this week. Okay. So as we move this energy around, and this is starting January 4th. As we move the energy, mind you, the energy is going to go to each house. So, for instance, on the 5th, that son, that family traveling in the car, that's going to go to your communication house, the third house, which is a Capricorn normally. That's normally Capricorn in that house. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So in this case, Saturn is wherever Saturn is, that you're going to have that little influence. And Saturn just so happened at that time to be in your sixth house. So we're back to your health, your debt, your competition, your enemies. These enemies you know about. You and somebody competing for the same job, people you know about. That brings a big light to that, right? So you're still gonna be focused on paying attention to your money and finding ways to stabilize your money because right now it seems you're losing more money than you're bringing in. So just keep that in mind when as this energy travels, it hits each house differently. Now, I have to also point out that this Mars energy that's there, Mars is, although it's the passenger, but it is the person that's kind of steering things because the sun is like, let's just do this trip because I told my wife I'm gonna take these kids out, so we're gonna go out. But then Mars is like, don't you see that person cutting you off? What you gonna do about it? Because Mars is aggressive. Mars is like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with that, right? And the kids are in the back arguing. So that's a lot of different energies, and that's a lot of distraction. And with distractions, accidents happen, right? Accidents in finances. If you have distractions and you're not paying attention to where your money is going, you might lose some money. If you have these distractions and you're driving down the road, you might have an accident. Or if you're not paying attention to your car and all the different readings, your car might break down. So it is requiring you to have some focus, dedicated focus, and not pay attention to some of the other energies that are around. On these six, you're going to have the moon and K2 together. The moon and K2 are going to, and mind you, the moon moves like every couple hours, so it's going to hit every house. But what this energy does is highlights even more secrets, highlight things that you did not know. And it also definitely highlights issues with your mother or your mother figure that are unresolved, right? And what this can end up being is kind of aimless wandering. You don't know the direction that that relationship is going in. Your mother figure, feminine energy figure, doesn't know the direction that relationship is going in. And it almost presents itself as like a stalemate. It's like, I kind of want things to go a certain way. I don't exactly know. What do I do? Oh, I need to go with my intuition. Well, you can't go with your intuition if you haven't activated your intuition, if you haven't been using it before, if you haven't been meditating. So you might have the thought that I should go in this direction, but not actually follow through on that thought because you haven't gotten to the point to where you trust your intuition. Now, Scorpio is like Pisces and Cancer. You do have great intuition if you nurture it and use it. Okay. If you haven't used it, then of course you make poor decisions and always going back. I should have listened to myself. I should have listened to myself. I should have listened to myself. So just a thought for you on that. Now, continuing on through the seventh. So you're gonna have the same. Let's go back to the sixth for one moment because Scorpio needs to know this. Scorpio's number is eight, right? So Scorpio's the eighth house. Eight is an affinity. Eight is the money number. It's the power number. So January 6th is the eighth day of the year, considered the most lucky day regarding finances for most people, but I like to think of it as a day where your money can shift. So if you have been diligent, yes, it can shift for the positive, but if you have not, you might see it shift negatively. So a loss of some sort. And as a matter of fact, that Mars, Sun, Mercury, Venus energy does go into that house of the 12th house of loss. And that 12th house of loss is kind of a public loss. So you could experience a loss that other people see. And that could be through social media. Maybe you share it on social media, or maybe someone exposes you on social media. I've been telling everyone this, be extremely careful because January 7th through the 9th offers up the highest probability of what I call the death cycle of great loss through military action, police action, great loss through arguments, great loss through actual car accidents, um, car, train, bus, some type of vehicular accident, a tiny chance at there being an accident from airplane, but not really. It's mainly on the ground. Um, Also could be issues with your pets, right? This time. So pets could have some intestinal issues. Some of you might have to put your pet down during this cycle. My condolences with you. I've still not recovered from the loss of my pet, and it's been years now. Okay, so moving forward on the 8th, there's going to come a point in the morning, it's going to start in the morning, where there's going to be heavy focus on your your body, yourself, and what you're doing in this world, your home and other people, like partnership with other people, a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, also people who are in your close circle. So that energy, the people in your close circle might expand. So you might meet more people that become like family to you or you put into your family. But then your actual home where you live each and every day and dwell is going to require some things from you, require some work from you, while at the same time, your physical body is requiring things from you. You could be sick, again, maybe a flu or something like that, a cold kind of thing, a head cold kind of thing. And that kind of foggy state makes it a little bit harder for you to focus. There is the autoimmune disorder. A surprise acknowledgement of autoimmune disorder might be likely for you, maybe the 8th through the 9th, or maybe even the 7th. Figuring out that you have an autoimmune disorder or getting that information from your provider that you have some form of an autoimmune disorder. The one thing about that is it would make sense to you what's been happening with you, and then you can actually start being proactive in dealing with that situation. By the way, I'm a metaphysician, so I always look at the energy for health when I do these readings. Not a good time for surgery. Everyone has gotten that, and it's not a good time for that, right? Because surgeries could go wrong. Um, be careful with cooking. You can have accident chopping things up as well. On the 9th, your Kona, the main part of your life, is very active. There's just a lot of energy everywhere. So it's going to require you to juggle. You can be successful, but you're going to have to be really good, really strategic about juggling, uh, because the moon is going to highlight some hidden health concerns as well for you. And then you're going to have that Sun, Venus, Mercury energy that's going to show up, and it's going to be in your 4th house, which is the house of home. And the thing about this energy is that you want to make your home better and more beautiful, but your home has some chaos in it, and that is going to come to light at that date. And this is chaos maybe between a brother and a sister, a father figure, because it's that energy. But there's chaos in the home that you're going to have to deal with. Then let's get to the 10th. The 10th pretty much holds the same energy from the 9th. Your career is going to have a focus, meaning what your fundings, your money, your partnership, people at work, interactions with people at your job is going to be important. Be very mindful of how you speak to people because that could cause you to lose your career. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. You could get some money from an insurance claim that could be tied to either your house or your job. something happened and you were owed some money, and so a claim may come through by the 10th. Okay. And some of you are starting a divorce proceedings. Some of you have decided that this is the year you're going to get divorced, and you're working on that now. So, all right, Scorpio, that's all I have for you. Take care.